Are y'all ready for a meeting tonight? That's what I want to hear. If you would, please help me open this meeting with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. Who kept us clean today? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Got a couple of quick announcements tonight. I'll get those over with and we'll get rolling. Excuse me. First of all, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need to always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. This is to protect the membership and the reputation of Narcotics Anonymous. We do not disclose last names or appear in the media as members of NA. If there are any members of the press present, please contact a member of the NEGA Convention Committee and we would be pleased to assist you. We ask that no pictures be taken in meetings. Got a couple other announcements tonight. Following the comedian, there will be a live band over in the Dogwood room. That is the hospitality room. So I just want to let you know these are some of the activities we have going, and it's going to be an open night. If you happen to sing or pick or want to participate, they cordially invite you to take part in this. Second thing is raffle. The 50-50 raffle drawing will be right here immediately following the clean time countdown. Okay, right here immediately following clean time countdown. Also, there's going to be an auction. As soon as this meeting's over, we're going to get a break for a couple of minutes or whatever. This petition will be pulled over here. On this side right here, you'll have the auction. On this side over here, these two doors, these two sections over here, will be for the comedian. And I urge you to get your tickets to the comedian as quick as possible, okay? They're $10 a piece. You can purchase those out at registration, or you can see John Douglas or myself or any other CPC members, all right? And last but not least, we are grown-up adults practicing recovery. Please pick up your trash, put your cigarette butts in appropriate places, all right? And with that, I got two personal things. First of all, I want to thank everybody on behalf of the Northeast Georgia area of Narcotics Anonymous, the area, and the CPC. I want to thank you all very, very much for making this a success and for showing up and supporting this thing. Second of all, if you're a newcomer or if you're young in recovery, take a look around. I want you to know that recovery is alive and well, it's free, and it's abundant for the taking. Please don't leave here with any problems tonight. We have some suggested readings, and I have asked George A. to read Who is an Addict. George A. And these are CPC members, okay? They did all this work right here.
What's up, Northeast Georgia area of Narcotics Anonymous? This is Who is an Addict. You know who I am, Gunn. He just introduced me. Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know. Our whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another. The getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. We live to use and use to live. Very simply, an addict is a man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We are people in the grip of a continuing and progressive illness whose ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death. I love you.
For those of you outside the league, George and Gunn are twins and were separated at birth. Ashley M. is going to read what is the NA program.
I'm Ashley and I'm an addict. This is what is the Narcotics Anonymous program. NA is a non-profit fellowship or society of men and women for whom drugs have become a major problem. We are recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. This is a program of complete abstinence from all drugs. There is only one requirement for membership: the desire to stop using. We suggest that you keep an open mind and give yourself a break. Our program is a set of principles written so simply that we can follow them in our daily lives. The most important thing about them is that they work. There are no strings attached to NA. We are not affiliated with any other organizations. We have no initiation fees or dues, no pledges to sign, no promises to make to anyone. We are not connected with any political, religious, or law enforcement groups and are under no surveillance at any time. Anyone may join us regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. We are not interested in what or how much you used or who your connections were, what you have done in the past, how much or how little you have, but only in what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting because we can only keep what we have by giving it away. We have learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean.
Here comes my payback. I've asked Gun in to read why we're here.
I am an addict. My name's Gun. I hope everybody's having a really good time. Before I start, I'd like to thank some of our vendors. They came and helped us, volunteered. We got some people from Gretna, Jimmy and Mike. We had Bernard from the West End. And we also had Johnny O from Staten Island with the jewelry. And we do have CDs for all the speakers. Just get with Ashley and we'd be glad to help you out. And this is why are we here. Before coming to the fellowship of NA, we could not manage our own lives. We could not live and enjoy life as other people do. We had to have something different. We thought we'd found it in drugs. We placed our use ahead of the welfare of our families, our wives, and our children. We had to have drugs at all costs. We did many people great harm, but most of all we harmed ourselves. Through our inability to accept personal responsibilities, we were actually creating our own problems. We seemed to be incapable of facing life on its own terms. Most of us realized that in our addiction we were slowly committing suicide, but addiction is such a cunning enemy of life that we had lost the power to do anything about it. Many of us ended up in jail or sought help through medicine, religion, or psychiatry. None of these methods was sufficient for us. Our disease always resurfaced or continued to progress until in desperation we sought help from each other in Narcotics Anonymous. After coming to NA, we realized we were sick people. We suffer from a disease from which there is no known cure. It can, however, be arrested at some point, and recovery is then possible.
Thank you, God.
I've asked George and Gun's father, David S., to read how it works.
My name's David and I'm an addict. And that's a fine example of what drugs and alcohol do to you. This is how it works. If you want what we have to offer and are willing to make the effort to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. These are the principles that made our recovery possible. 1, we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, we continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. This sounds like a big order, and we can't do it all at once. We didn't become addicted in one day, so remember, easy does it. There's one thing more than anything else that will defeat us in our recovery. This is an attitude of indifference or intolerance towards spiritual principles. 3 of these that are indispensable are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. With these, we are well on our way. We feel that our approach to the disease of addiction is completely realistic, for the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. We feel that our way is practical, for one addict can best understand and help another addict. We believe that the sooner we face our problems within our society in everyday living, just that much faster do we become acceptable, responsible, and productive members of that society. The only way to keep from returning to active addiction is not to take that first drug. If you are like us, you know that 1 is too many and 1,000 never enough. We put great emphasis on this, for we know that when we use drugs in any form or substitute one for another, we release our addiction all over again. Thinking of alcohol as different from other drugs has caused a great many addicts to relapse. Before coming to NA, many of us viewed alcohol separately, but we cannot afford to be confused about this. Alcohol is a drug. We are people with the disease of addiction who must abstain from all drugs in order to recover.
On a more serious note, the next reader tonight held my hand through a lot of things and helped me understand and clued me in on a lot of things happen. So with that, John D. is going to read the traditions.
I'm a recovering addict, and my name is John D. How it works, right? This is how it works. If you want what we have to offer and are willing to make the effort to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. These are the principles that made our recovery possible. I need to make sure I know how it works first. The 12 traditions of NA. We keep only what we have with vigilance, and just as freedom from the individual comes from the 12 steps, so freedom for the group springs from our traditions. As long as the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that would tear us apart, all will be well. 1. Our common welfare shall come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants who do not govern. 3. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. 4. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or NA as a whole. 5. Each group has but one primary purpose, to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. 6. An NA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the NA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, or prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7. Every NA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8. Narcotics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9. NA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10. Narcotics Anonymous has no opinion in outside issues, hence the NA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymities at the level of press, radio, and films. And 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. Understanding these traditions comes slowly over a period of time. We pick up information as we talk to members and visit various groups. It isn't until we get involved with service that someone points out personal recovery depends on NA unity, and that unity depends on how well we follow our traditions. The 12 traditions of NA are not negotiable. They are the guidelines that keep our fellowship alive and free. By following these guidelines in our dealings with others and society at large, we avoid many problems. That is not to say our traditions eliminate all problems. We still have to face difficulties as they arise, communication problems, differences of opinion, internal controversies, and troubles with individuals and groups outside our fellowship. However, when we apply these principles, we avoid some of the pitfalls. Many of our problems are like those that our predecessors had to face. Their hard-won experience gave birth to the traditions, and our own experience has shown that these principles are just as valid today as when these traditions were formulated. Our traditions protect us from the internal and external forces that could destroy us. They are truly the ties that bind us together. It is only through understanding and application that they work.
And last but not least, the gang master, Tate, is going to read just for today.
I'm gonna name Tate.
Hey, Tate. Everybody
Everybody having a good time? Yeah! It's a packed house. It's awesome. It's awesome. All right, just for today. Tell yourself, just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for today, I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I'll try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using and who have found a new way of life. As long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear.
That's right, let's give it to him. This is CPC committee. Before I turn it over to the introducer, I'm going to tell you again, thank you very much for suiting up and showing up and helping making this thing a nice success. And with that, I'm going to give you Tony F. who's going to introduce our speaker.
Hey, everybody have fun today? Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, y'all are the most important people sitting in this meeting because y'all make this possible. Without y'all, we wouldn't be sitting here, okay? Everybody in here has a meaning to this convention. I'm supposed to talk a little bit about the speaker. You know, I've got to know this guy over a short period of time, but I heard him 2 years ago in Myrtle Beach. For those who were in Myrtle Beach, they know this guy's a motivated speaker. This guy, when I was sitting there, I was looking around, you know, because he had already got my attention. I was looking around the audience. It's like 5,000 people sitting there that morning, 3,000, whatever. But I'm looking, and everybody's like, yeah. He was touching more than one person. This guy has the experience, strength, and hope to share with y'all. And I know by the time he comes off the stage tonight, somebody in here is going to get the message, and they're going to get a clear message of recovery, because this is what he's going to bring. You know, I truly have got to know him in the past 3 or 4 days, you know, but, you know, we started talking about 9 months ago, and I said, hey, look, you're coming to Georgia, you're going to be in a convention. It's like, okay, that sounds good, let me know. And I'm calling him every month, hey, we're getting closer. You're going to be here. And then I called him about 2 months ago. He said, man, I thought this was in stone. I said, it will be next weekend, I promise. You know, I really look forward to getting him here. I seen him in Myrtle Beach, and I said, this is the guy I want to bring to Georgia. I'll let everybody hear. And with that, I'm going to give you Jimmy W.
I'm an addict. My name is Jimmy. First, I want to thank God and Narcotics Anonymous for allowing me to have another day clean and for bringing me back in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous and place you people in my life. For that, I'm truly grateful. Another thing I always like to do is ask God to use me as an instrument and a tool to carry a clear message of hope and promise of freedom. Another thing I always like to do, I always like to ask everybody to hug the person beside them and let them know that you love them. You know what I mean? So everybody give everybody a hug. Did everybody get a hug? Yeah, it somewhere states in our literature that a loving hug can make all the difference in the world. Especially, you never know when somebody is going through something, you know what I mean, and they don't have the courage to like share what's going on with them. And it's something about a hug. When you give somebody a hug, it's something about it, it just breaks what you might be going through. You know, I'd like to thank the Northeast Area Convention for inviting me to come down to share my experience, strength, and hope. I want to thank Tony and the program committee
for like giving me an opportunity. You know, I've had a real nice time this weekend. You know, I've been treated with a lot of nice hospitality. You know, so I am grateful to have the opportunity to come down here to share my experience, strength and hope of Narcotics Anonymous. Listen, you know, when I first came into Narcotics Anonymous, you know, and I came here by way of force. You know, I didn't come here on my own. You know, I came here by way of force. You know, my mother had gave me a choice. You know, she said, either you get out of my house or go seek some help. You know, and I really didn't have no other place to go, so I kind of took the second choice to go seek some help. You know, and so, you know, I went through the 28-day program, and well, back then it was 30 days. You know, it was a 30-day program. It was a little longer, 2 days longer. Now we got 28 days, you know, and you know, I had went into the program, and I was already shooting dope for 20 years, and I didn't really think I had a problem with drugs. You know, my mother had seen her son turn into somebody, and she had recognized that I had a problem, you know, and I still didn't think I had a problem. So when I went to the rehab, I didn't go there to get clean. I went there because my mother gave me no choice. And when I went there, on the 29th day, they put me out. I was real rebellious, you know, I wasn't following guidance and direction, and you know, they put me out, and while I was in there for 29 days, you know, I had came up with a major plan, and you know, yeah, you know, I be coming up with some good ideals, and I came up with this plan, and I said, listen, I'm not going to shoot no more dope for a while. You know, I'm just going to go smoke weed. You know, and listen, because that's how powerful this disease of addiction is. It will tell you that you can do something else and not go back to the drug of choice. But I'm here to tell you, it don't matter once you start using, because it talks about it's the first one that starts the deadly cycle all over again, right? And so on the 29th day when they put me out, you know, I went and got high, and you know, I had the type of mother, I don't know about anybody else if they had this type of mother, but I had the type of mother, right? She used to, like, you know, when I came in the house, she used to say, let me see your eyes. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, she's tripping. You know what I mean? I'd be, she's like, let me see your eyes. You know what I mean? But she knew. But my mind used to tell me that, you know, because my mind used to say that I could camouflage the disease of addiction. But I'm here to tell you tonight that you can't camouflage the disease of addiction. It will expose you. You understand? It will expose you for who you are. It will allow people to know that you are using, even though you think you are hiding it. If you are using, we know. We know. So, you know, my mom used to say, something wrong with your eyes. You're high again. And you know, I'd be in so much denial. I'd be in so much denial. I say, Mom, I'm not high, but I want to read something out of Who's an Addict. It says that we suffer from a disease that expresses itself in ways that are antisocial, that makes detection, diagnosis, and treatment difficult. And I used to believe that I could hide it, that she wouldn't be able to detect that I was high. But that's how powerful the disease is. It will allow you to do things and think you can get away with it. So when I came back by way of force again, well, this was in 1986, 1987. I had came back to Narcotics Anonymous again in 1988. And by the time I came back this time, you know, people were sharing some things in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. And I really, you know, what I found out is that I will find an excuse or a reason to go use drugs. You know, and I only need an excuse or a reason. That's why our literature talks about we got to be careful what we say and do as members of Narcotics Anonymous, because the newcomer is watching us. The newcomer is watching us. That's why we got to lead by example. We got to live what we talk about. So when I came back in 1988, people were talking about not washing, not changing their clothes, eating out of garbage cans, all this stuff. And I said, man, I really don't belong here. Listen, because I didn't experience none of that stuff. Listen, but something happened in 1988. I was at my mother's house one day and I made the transformation from shooting dope to smoking crack. Listen, that's why I kind of thank God for crack, right? Because if it wasn't for crack, I probably wouldn't be in Narcotics Anonymous. And I was at my mother's house one day, and I proceeded to go cop. And I went down to 9th and Indiana, down at the graveyard, at 9th and Indiana on Hutchinson Street. And something happened on this particular day that I never forgot in my life. I started to get high at 9th and Indiana on Hutchinson Street. And I didn't go home for 38 months. And all the things I said that didn't happen to me started to happen to me in rapid succession. I became a bum in the streets of Narcotics. I became a bum in the streets of Philadelphia. I ate out of trash cans. I didn't wash my clothes. I didn't change. I didn't do nothing. I became an instant bum. Within 38 months, I got 37 arrests, 4 felony convictions. I became a career criminal. All the things I said I didn't do started to happen to me in rapid succession. So it's something about crack. I'm trying to tell you, it's something about crack. Listen. I've been here a long time. When I first came to Narcotics Anonymous, it wasn't that many black people. Listen, I'm trying to tell you about my area, in the Philadelphia area. There wasn't that many black people. In 1988, a couple black people started to come. By 1991, the crack epidemic had hit Philadelphia, and the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous started to fill up. So it's something about crack. Listen, I want to share this. You know, I'm trying to tell you. Listen, dope never did that to me, you know what I mean? But crack did something to me, right? And I was sitting home with my wife about 2 weeks ago. We're sitting there and I'm watching this special on TV. You know, I watch TV today. You know, I didn't watch TV in my addiction at all. I didn't have time. That was interfering. You know, I didn't have the patience and the tolerance to sit down and watch TV. I don't know about anybody else. My job was to get one more. And once I started using, I couldn't stop. And that was the most important thing at that time in my life, to keep using drugs. So I didn't watch no TV and go to dances and all that good stuff that people do today. I didn't do those things. But I was sitting home a couple weeks ago, and there was this special on HBO, I think it was. And it was the drug epidemic. How drugs started in America. And they started off. They went back to the 1960s and the 1970s, and they were talking about people that used to smoke pot, you know what I mean, and how they were transporting pot and all this stuff, right? But they said something happened in 1990 in the United States, that crack had came into the United States and there was a crack epidemic. Listen, and this was a special. They said something happened in the 90s where everybody starts smoking crack. They said, but something right after that started to happen. They said recovery. Listen. They said recovery took off. The 12-step program on Narcotics Anonymous took off right after the crack epidemic in the United States. And I said, man, they are so true. because I watched it. I watched the rooms fill up. Listen, I want to say to the newcomer, if this is your first convention, welcome. We love you. If nobody told you they love you today, I love you. Listen. If you're in a recovery house, I want to tell you, just stay. Don't let the disease of addiction play on you, because it's getting ready to get hot. And when it gets hot, our disease of addiction will show up and tell us that we're okay, that we're in control of our life, that we don't need to stay in the recovery house, that we can leave. I'm here to tell you, don't leave, stay. It's getting hot. Look at the person beside you. You might not see them here next month. If something happens when the weather changes in Narcotics Anonymous, the rooms get thinner in the summertime. Listen, so don't let I'm here to bust your reservation tonight. If you're thinking about leaving, if you're thinking about getting one, that you'll be okay. I'm here to tell you, it ain't gonna work. Just stay clean, just for today. That's right. Listen, take it a day at a time. Listen, if they tell you you're on a blackout, then you can't go out for 30 days. It's okay. I went through it. I stayed clean. I'm here to tell you, my life is great today. I went through all that stuff to get where I'm at today. But I'm here to share with you, it's only going to be for a short time. Go through what you need to go through, because it's going to be light on the other end of the tunnel. Just stay there. Don't let nobody, we find ways and means to get out of these recovery houses and to say, oh man, I don't like how they talking to me. Man, listen. I don't know how they do in Georgia, but I remember at the end of my addiction, them young boys used to tell me, just stay there and wait. And I used to wait. In the rain, in the snow. They used to talk to me all dirty, any old kind of way. So when we get clean, you know what I mean? You can't talk to me like that. Yeah, listen. I want to share with you. If you're new, you don't know how to stay clean. Let us help you. Let us show you. You don't have to understand the program of Narcotics Anonymous. All you got to do is follow direction. All you got to do is allow us to help you. Because what I know is this: if we're in a minefield and I'm on the other side, listen, and you're on that side, and I'm on this side, which is recovery, and you're just coming into recovery, and we're in a minefield. For me to get on that other side, I must know the way. You understand? So I got to guide you to get on the other side where I'm at. So what am I trying to tell you? Allow us to guide you through the 12 steps and the 12 traditions of Narcotics Anonymous. That is the freedom that you're going to achieve. I want to share with you, the steps are so important in Narcotics Anonymous. They are so important. Don't let nobody tell you the steps are the key to freedom. We're not talking about 1, 2, 3. We're talking about the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. You got to take all 12. Listen, our literature. Listen, I love the literature. The literature has saved my life. It says, listen, those who don't take a 4th step, the crucial step, will relapse. Don't get stuck on the 4th step. No, take all the steps. They talk about it in the 9th step. If you don't do a 9th step, you're setting yourself up for relapse. You got to take all 12 steps. The steps are our survival kit. They help us not to relapse. That's what the literature says. So when I came back to Narcotics Anonymous in 1991, after being out in the graveyard for 38 months, caught up, in a 4-block radius. Couldn't get no help. Didn't see no way out. No hopes, no dreams. The addiction has stolen my childhood. Everything I thought I might want to do in life, it stole everything from me. When I came back in 1991, I was real open to do whatever y'all say to do. I was real open. I want to share. I had got a couple years clean. It was around about 2 years clean at the time into my recovery. It was around 1993. And I had got a great ideal. Because I came to Narcotics Anonymous just to stop shooting dope and smoking crack. Nothing else. I didn't come here to recover. And something said, you know, they used to say things in my area that a monkey can't sell bananas. And I used to that used to go in my head. What the hell are they talking about? A monkey can't sell bananas. And listen, I've learned to break things down. So for the newcomer, what they're saying is a recovering addict can't sell drugs. And I wish they would have broke that down for me. Because I really didn't understand. I had the courage to ask them. I said, what the hell are they talking about monkeys and bananas for? And I had got this great ideal, man, that I could sell drugs in Narcotics Anonymous. Oh, and y'all acting like I'm the only one that sold drugs in Narcotics Anonymous. I mean, come on. Somebody out there tonight is selling drugs in Narcotics Anonymous. And I had got the great ideal, and back then everybody had the Mr. T starter kit, you know, all the jewelry, the nice clothes. Listen, and I used to, you know, when I seen that, that's what I did. I always dressed the outside up, but I'm here to tell you it's an inside job. You know what I mean? You could be a dressed up garbage can. Listen, and people were coming up to me, you know, I had around 4 years clean. And people were coming up to me, and, you know, I was real involved in service. I used to sit on the intensive care unit in the first 2 rows, right? That's right, that's the intensive care unit. They said for the sick ones, you sit up front. They said some are sicker than others. I knew I was sick. That's one thing I had recognized. To be caught up in the graveyard for 38 months, something's wrong with you, Jimmy. So people were coming up to me saying, Jimmy, what kind of job you got? And I've never worked in my life. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'll be saying, I ain't got no job. I'm okay. I ain't working. I'm just doing okay. But they knew I was selling drugs. And eventually, you know, we talk about don't go around people, places, and things. You know what I mean? And I had got comfortable in my recovery, and I thought I was okay to go around people, places, and things. And what I found out, the disease of addiction will allow you to get comfortable in your recovery, they'll allow you to take chances. And what I found out, once you get away with it, you'll try it again. That's how powerful the disease of addiction is. It will let you get away with it once to think you're sneaky, because I was a sneaky person and I would get away with it, and once I got away with it once, I thought I could do it again. 4 years clean, I'm with my brother, I'm selling drugs in Narcotics Anonymous. And my brother had got $17,000. And he was like, come on, bro, take me to cop. And I went back down 9th in Indiana at the graveyard because I didn't have no drugs left. I had ran out. And I proceeded to cop for my brother. And my disease was waiting patiently. It had slow walked me patiently. And my mind said, you're okay. You're not going to use drugs. And we had picked up a girl. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah. And we had picked up a girl. And my mind said, just go trick. You're not going to use. And we proceeded to go into Days Inn in the hotel. And I'm here to share with you, before you actually use, there are warning signs. Listen, there are warning signs. And there were warning signs and I was ignoring. And some of the warning signs, my hands started to sweat. I started to pass gas. My stomach was flipping. Listen. And y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all what was going on with me, right? Listen, and I had recognized that something was going on, something was wrong, and y'all said before you pick up the drug, pick up the phone, call somebody, make it to a meeting. None of it, pray, ask God to help you. None of that stuff came into play. The disease of addiction had got me so comfortable in what I was doing. The 10th step talks about it will back you into a corner where you won't come out clean. Listen, I went into the hotel room, I jumped in the shower thinking I could wash this thing away. Listen, when I came out the shower, my brother said, here, take one. And he had handed me the drugs. And I'm here to tell you, it only takes a second to lose your clean time. You gotta put yourself in protected custody. You gotta put yourself in God's care. You gotta guard your recovery every second, every day. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, the disease of addiction wants you to get comfortable in your defects of character. It wants you to get sneaky. It wants you to think you can get away with something. It wants you to think you're in control of your life. Once again, because you got a new haircut, you got some new clothes, you got some new sneaks, you got your nails done, you got your hair done, you got a piece of jewelry. It wants to think you're okay, that you can just take one. Listen, I smoked, and my brother's about 6'6". And when I took the hit, I looked at my brother and I said, give me that money. He said, damn, bro, you changed. Listen. The literature talks about we go from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. I turned into an instant monster. By 8 o'clock that morning, I had used all the money he had on him. He had about $3,000. By 8 o'clock that morning, we riding in my candy apple red Camaro. Me, him, and 2 girls. And he had no more money. It was at the house. I put them all out in the middle of the street. Get out! Because I needed to use. And I proceeded to go to my bank. And within 30 days, I lost everything. I'm talking about I sold all the jewelry. Listen, it gets so bad with me, I sell the sneaks off my feet. I will sell the jacket off my back to get one more. I don't know about anybody else, but I get desperate. And if I automatically become a salesperson. I start selling your stuff, my stuff, and anybody else's stuff. I have an everything must go for sale. That's right. You know, when you get clean, you get everything new. We get the new TVs, the new cars. Man, I sell that stuff for nothing. When I want one more, listen, I sell for nothing. But something happened in 30 days. I was so beat up again. In 30 days, they say you will pick up where you left off if you use again. That is so true. But I want to share with you, once the seed of Narcotics Anonymous is planted, you will never use another successful day in your life. Once you're in Narcotics Anonymous, listen, if you're a member of Narcotics Anonymous, if you're a 12-step member of Narcotics Anonymous, if you're a member, period, it's your job It's your job, if you know somebody that's using, it's your job to interfere with their using. What am I saying? I'm saying this. Listen, I had called somebody and I said, man, I used again, don't tell nobody. This was my best friend. He had about 10 years clean. Everywhere he went, I went. And I'm living in this corner apartment. And when I was using, I had pulled down the shades and everything, right? And this is what I'm talking about, what Narcotics Anonymous did. You know, next thing I know, I heard, they said, Jimmy, we know you're in there. We know you're using. You ain't gotta live like that. Come on back home. Listen, I said, yeah. I told him don't tell nobody. Listen. I was in my bedroom smoking, right? And I was like, listen, because I pulled the shades down and I be putting stuff up against the door. Listen, I be getting real paranoid, thinking people are coming in when I get high, right? And I was like, what are they doing, right? They were doing their jobs as a member of Narcotics Anonymous. They were interfering with my using. The seed of Narcotics Anonymous was planted, so they were doing what they were supposed to do. And if you're a member of Narcotics Anonymous and you know somebody's using, go interfere with their using. Listen, when you see them on the street, ride by and say, hey, you ain't gotta live like that. We love it. No, come on back home. No, it's your job as a member. I'm telling you, listen, I got so much joy to be clean in Narcotics Anonymous. But listen, it talks about, listen, I had came back. Listen, they interfered with my using. I came back. I had surrendered once again and came back. And I said, I ain't gonna sell no more drugs in Narcotics Anonymous. Yeah, I really meant that. For that day. Just for today. And something happened, man. I had got a year, and I love service. My hat is off for those who are involved in service and involvement. The literature talks about in the pamphlet, another look. Service and involvement will get you another day clean. You better check it. Get involved in your home group. Get involved in area service. Get involved in the convention committee. It's going to help you. It's going to help you stay clean just for today. So I got, I came back and I got another year clean, and I'm involved in service, making meetings 90 and 90, sponsor home group. I've had the same sponsor for 18 years. Listen, I've never changed sponsors. I didn't blame it on my sponsor when I used. I never fired my sponsor and all that crazy stuff we come up with. My sponsor didn't use. He wasn't one that made me use. I had some things. Listen, I had some reservations. I didn't talk about them, and I used. And I was coming in here. Listen, and I had got another great ideal. Back then we just had the beepers out. And back then the cell phones started to come. And I said, damn, maybe I could do the cell phones. And what I've learned in recovery is you attract who you are. If you're a negative person, you'll attract negativity. If you're a positive person, you'll attract positivity. And listen, I was attracting all the negative people that wasn't even in recovery. I was attracting people that were doing all the illegal things. I was saying, damn, why do I always attract these people? Because you are who you are. And I started doing the cell phones. And what I found out in my recovery is that I had so low self-esteem, so low self-worth. I was just looking for love because I never received it at home. My mother beat me with extension cords and stuff like that, so I always had resentments. I've been using drugs since 10 years old. So when I started doing the cell phones, like it was like a whole nother world that opened up in Narcotics Anonymous. Everybody was knocking on my door, they was coming to meetings, and I was seeking the attention, thinking it was love. I was looking for stuff in the wrong places. And I started doing the cell phones, and I'm here to share with you. Once you start doing some illegal stuff in Narcotics Anonymous, it just don't stop there. I started doing the cell phones, the insurance cards, the stickers, the counterfeit money, the counterfeit food stamps, the cable boxes, the hacking. Listen, and at the end I was selling drugs. 2 days before my 3rd year anniversary, I smoked again. And I'm saying, why do I keep getting high? The literature talks about through our dishonesty and self-deceit, you'll never enjoy recovery. And I didn't make it right back. They make it back to 1999. And I was going to meetings high. I knew I needed to come back to Narcotics Anonymous. And I couldn't stop using. But I was still coming to meetings. Y'all was still loving me. Y'all didn't put me out. Y'all said, Jimmy, we suggest that you come back clean. But just keep coming. I don't have the right to try to put somebody out for Narcotics Anonymous this high. I don't have that right. Y'all didn't put me out. Y'all just kept hugging me. Y'all just kept loving me. I went to 7th and Huntington. And they tried to kill me. They beat me with pistols and stopped me with new Timberlands. I remember the Timberlands because when I went down on the ground, they was opening up my hands and kicking me in the face. And they damaged 2 vertebrae of my spinal cord. And I wasn't supposed to walk. And I called on God. And I said, God, if you just get me out of this, I'll never sell drugs in Narcotics Anonymous. I'll never hustle again in Narcotics Anonymous. I started to call on God. And when I came back, I went to recovery house. I was beat up after the hospital. I had a major operation. 2 vertebrae of my spinal cord damage. I got a long scar in the back of my neck. I got a reminder, if you go back out and use, you might not make it back. It's not guaranteed to make it back. What is guaranteed is jail, institution, and death. 12 days clean. Don't get tired of me reading the literature, y'all. I love the literature. I'm sharing my story. 12 days clean. This is what the literature says. A relapse and sequence death of someone close to us may be the job of the awakening for us to do the necessary, vigorous personal action. 12 days clean. I'm in a recovery house. They shooting dope, they smoking crack, and smoking weed in the recovery house. Everybody in Narcotics Anonymous was showing up for me. And I was with this girl for 7 years. And she called me on December 24th. And she said, I am so glad you're clean again. She said, I'm coming over on Christmas to see you. And she didn't show up. Christmas night, 1999, she got murdered at a shelter. And I knew when I went to the funeral, something happened at the funeral. Listen, Bill, something happened at the funeral I knew I was never going to use again. When I seen her laying in the casket, I knew it took her death to make me come alive. I knew I wasn't going to use again. Listen, and everybody in Narcotics Anonymous started showing up, and my sponsor said, anything that interferes with your using, with your recovery, must go. Anything that interferes with your recovery must go. They were shooting dope, smoking crack, and smoking weed in the recovery house. I became the house manager. They were interfering with my recovery. I became the house manager. I had the courage. Listen. I called the owner of the house. I said, they using up in here. He said, I'm on my way. Listen, it takes a lot of courage to stay clean. Listen, sometimes you stand on your own. And he came to the house and I pointed him out one by one. He's shooting dope, he's smoking crack, and he's smoking weed. And in Philadelphia, they got them little piss tests. If it turns red, you're going. If it turns blue, you're staying. And they were turning red. He said, pack your stuff tonight. Get out. And it became a real recovery house. Everybody start recovering in that house. We all start going to meetings together. Listen, everything started to change. Even though the guy that was smoking crack took the new 27-inch color TV, it was okay. Listen. I'm telling you, that crack is something, man. Look, it's that crack, right? But listen, we still had a TV with the hanger on it as an antenna, right? But I want to tell you, in my area, where I came from, I was the only white person. Yeah. And we don't care what color, race, creed, religion, lack of religion, your sexual identity. We don't care about nothing like that. I got proof of that. Everybody started to show up in the recovery house and take me to meetings and take me to conventions. 92 days clean, I'm in Ohio. Listen, with my hand up for 90 days clean at the convention because I felt free for the first time in my life. And I had put in some applications. Listen, I've never worked in my life. What? Work? That was foreign. And I came home to the recovery house after the Ohio convention. I was up in Columbus, Ohio. Didn't cost me a dime. You know what they said to me? Jimmy, as long as you stay clean, what we're doing for you, when you get some time, you do for somebody else. You pass it on. You help a newcomer. Take them to a convention. Take them to a meeting. Stay on the phone with them. Buy them a newcomer's package. Take them, help them. Drive them to a meeting. Take them to get something to eat. Help them. Let them know that you're glad to be alive. You are refreshed. That recovery is live. So I came back and the guy said to me, Jimmy, this guy called you for a job. I said, listen, I want to share with y'all. I don't have no resume and I'm not hating on nobody. I'm sharing my story. I had put in the application. You know, and I just qualify myself quick. You know, the area I came from, they used to say, I ain't working for the white man. I said, I ain't working for him either. Right? They crazy, right? They used to blame it on the white man, right? And I said, I ain't working for him either. It really didn't matter what color you was. I ain't working for you either, right? But listen, I want to share with you this, right? Listen, on my application, I had put taxi driver and USMC. Now, I kind of exaggerated a little bit. Y'all know what a hack is? I was a hack. I wasn't a real taxi driver. I was a hack that stood on the corner and said, taxi hack, taxi hack. I had my own car. I didn't have a taxi cab, you know, and that's how I used to be the cab driver with my own car. But that's how they do it in Philadelphia. That's a big thing, hacking. I don't think they got that down here in the woods, you know. I don't think nobody hacking down here, right? But that's what we do in the city, right? And so, you know, the guy called me for the application, and I want to just show you. Once you turn your life and your care over to a higher power, whom I choose to call God. Listen, it's okay to call him God. You could call him the group, you could call it the program. I choose to call him God. And it took a process for me to get to that. But I have recognized that God was showing up in my life. And I'm in the interview, and it's 6 of us. And 5 of them is experienced machine operators and clamp truck drivers and forklift drivers. Listen, and the guy is going through the applications. I'm saying, damn, I don't think I got a chance. But listen, my disease will tell me I'm going to fail, that I'm not worthy, because I always heard that in my whole life. You're never going to be nothing. You're never going to amount to nothing. I'm here to tell you that ain't true. Listen, when you become clean in Narcotics Anonymous, you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. So I'm in the interview. And something happened. And you got to recognize when God shows up in the interview. You got to recognize when God shows up in the courtroom. You got to recognize when he shows up, period. And the guy said to me, I see you're a jarhead. And the bells and the lights started to go off. I said, yes, sir. Because I knew it took one jarhead to know another jarhead, just like it takes one addict to know another addict. Listen, I knew he had to be in the Marine Corps to call me a jarhead. And I said, I know I'm safe. I said, yes, sir. Listen, it was a white man too. I said, listen, yes, sir. Right? He says, what happened to your cab? I said, I lost it. The truth was the cops took it. It's illegal to hack in Philadelphia. They lock you up and take your car. That's what they do when they catch you on the corner. They lock you up and take your car and put you in jail. The same cop locked me up 3 times and took 3 of my cars on the same corner. I kept going back, they kept locking me up. I kept going back, they kept locking me up, right? I'm telling you, this disease is so powerful. It be telling you to do crazy stuff, man, right? And he said to me, listen, I want to share about the freedom of Narcotics Anonymous. I want to share about being free for the first time in my life. He said, look, can you take a urinalysis test? Listen, I started jumping up with joy because I knew I was finally free. I had 92 days clean. I knew I could piss in a bottle. Listen, I knew. Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, listen, when you become clean, it's something with it. It's freedom in Narcotics Anonymous. He said, Jimmy, give me $50. He said, if you pass the urinalysis test, I'll give you your $50 back. I said, damn, he's running a good scheme down here. Listen, I ain't never heard of nothing like that, right? Listen. And I was in a recovery house in Philadelphia. They take all your money, all your food stamps. They said, we really want to see if you want recovery. Walk the meetings, get them done by any means possible. Listen, and I had 35 hours. And I said, well, I've always come short. So I said, listen, y'all know what it is, right? I said, I got 35 hours. He said, give me it. And I was like, and he took the 35 hours. And I kind of struggled a little bit with it, you know what I mean? But listen, I let it go. You gotta let things go. You gotta take a risk. You gotta be free in recovery. You gotta take risks. You gotta take chances. You gotta trust in the process. I'm here to tell you, newcomer, just trust in the process. Trust in your sponsor. Believe in love one person. You ain't gotta believe in all of us. Just find one person that believes in you, that wants to help you in your recovery. So I went to take the urinalysis test, all 6 of us. And I knew I was free for the first time in my life. I told him I'm pissing a gallon bottle. It don't matter. Listen, you know when you know you're free, you know you're clean, you'll do anything to get what you need to do, right? And on the way back from the test, 2 of the guys had shared with me that, well, I was just smoking weed. I said, damn, y'all could have gave me that $50. I would have pissed for y'all. Y'all ain't getting this job. Listen, y'all ain't getting this job. Because, you know, half of the corporations now in America, they make you take a urinalysis test. And half of America can't pass the piss test. We are so blessed in Narcotics Anonymous. We are given this precious gift of recovery. It's a precious gift. So I called him the next day. I ain't wait for him to call me. Y'all said call him. Yeah, y'all said call him. And I called him, I said, sir, did I get the job? He said, yeah, you passed the test. I already knew that. He said, come on down and fill out the W-2. And the whole way down there, the only thing I could think about is how much does this job pay? Now, mind you, I never worked. I never worked in my life. So that was the first question I asked him. I said, sir, how much does this job pay? He said, $7. I said, $7? But my next thought was, you gotta learn to crawl before you can walk. A grateful addict will never use. You gotta be grateful for a start. Listen, I got the job. I did a 90 and a 90 on the job. I went to work on time. I shut my mouth. Listen, I want to tell you how God has blessed me. Listen, I've been on the same job going on 8 years. Listen, I didn't know it was a union job. I didn't know they had personal days, sick days, vacation days. I didn't know I had good insurance. But the literature talks about when the drugs go and the addict works the program, wonderful things happen, lost dreams awaken, new possibilities arise. I'm talking about it's saying you can be whatever you want to be. If you ain't got your driver's license, we're going to help you get your driver's license. If you ain't got your GED, we're going to help you get your GED. If you want to go back and get your degrees in college, we're going to help you get your degrees in college. If you want to get your associates, your masters, it don't matter. We're going to help you because Narcotics Anonymous is a wealth of information. That's all you got to do is stay clean just for today. That's it. That's it. That's it. It's not easy to come up here. It's a responsibility when you come to this podium to share a clear message of hope and promise of freedom. We don't want to blur the message. We don't want to kill the newcomer. We got one disease, one fellowship. We have one sponsor, one home group.
That's right.
Huh? Listen, if y'all don't know, I need y'all. This I need to tell y'all. We're not alcoholics and addicts. We are recovered addicts. Recovered from the disease of addiction. We're not clean. We're not clean and sober. We are clean, recovered from the disease of addiction. It's my job as a member of Narcotics Anonymous. If you don't know, it's my duty to let you know. I'm stepping on your toes. You need to stop talking that mess up in here. We're recovering addicts. This is the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. I am free. I am free for the first time in my life. I am spiritually refreshed and glad to be alive. When's the last time you helped a newcomer? You gotta ask yourself that. When's the last time you stayed on the phone, took somebody to a meeting? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. The disease of addiction is not impressed with your clean time. It's not impressed with your degrees. It's not impressed with your new car, your new house, your new wife. Its job is to make you think that you're okay and just to take one. That's how cunning, baffling, and insidious this disease is. So, I don't know why that came out, right? I just want to thank the Northeast area of Georgia for inviting me down to share my experience, strength, and hope. It's an honor to be in your presence. It's a privilege and an honor to come down here. I just want to thank you. I just want to thank God, because God gets all the praises and all the glories. I know God worked through Tony. And Tony worked through the program of the Northeast area and pushed for me to come down here. And I know it was hard, because we can get set in our ways.
That's right.
Listen, but what you gotta be, listen, it says a closed mind will not take on a new ideal. Listen, we gotta be open for new ideals. We gotta be open for people to come here and have a zest to be clean, a zest to serve. We gotta listen to the new people. We gotta listen to the newcomer. Because they say a person with 2 days clean can help a person with 1 day clean. Don't get too big in your recovery where you think you're running something here. You ain't running nothing. It ain't no big I, no little you. Listen. You will find yourself on the outside, looking in, causing dissension from within. And what is that saying? You will use if you cause conflict in Narcotics Anonymous. Keep coming up in here causing mess. You will find yourself on the outside. Your disease will have you on the outside, being lonely, feeling sorry for you. Once self-pity comes in, so new people, if you don't like what's going on, step up to the plate. Step up. Don't talk about it. Be about it. If you don't like what's going on in your home group, step up to the plate. If you don't like what's going on in your area, step up to the plate. Don't be talking about people and you ain't doing nothing about it. It's best just to keep your mouth shut if you ain't going to be about it. Don't be backbiting. Yeah. Don't hate, appreciate. I am so grateful. Listen. I just want to share this before I close. When I came back in 1999, I know I'm getting ready to mess with some of y'all. God had placed something on my heart. He said, Jimmy, stop messing with the newcomer. You are messing with God's children. Give the newcomer a break. Let them live. We let you live. Let them live. You know, some of the newcomers coming here, I don't know if they were smoking crack, but you know, some of them coming here looking good. 30 days, 60 days. Yeah, got their hair done still, and everybody don't lose everything. But I'm here to tell you, if you came into Narcotics Anonymous, you're damaged goods. If you don't think you're damaged goods, something wrong with you. We're all damaged goods. So when you're new, you got to give a person a break. That's why we talk about when you come here, for the first year, try to love yourself, love God, get a relationship with yourself, get a relationship with God. And when I came back, God had put something on my heart. He said, Jimmy, I don't want you to be with nobody. Don't mess with the newcomer no more. Talk to me. Mess with me. And I stayed absent for 2 years. Listen, I didn't mess with nobody. And I worked on me. And one of my prayers were, God, make me husband material. I want a wife. Now, God will answer your prayers. And I met somebody. And I knew she was the one. You know, like, when you know, you know. I knew she was the one. And I got a beautiful black wife. Listen, I got a beautiful black woman. Listen, my wife got 12 years clean. Listen, and I asked this woman to marry me. And she's seen something in me. And we wound up getting married in Jamaica. Listen, I went to the islands. I had a beautiful wedding. Listen, they did my reception. They took my wife the day of the wedding. They did my wife up. Listen. And me and my wife had planned some things, you know, and she was coming through the garden. And when I seen her, I started singing. Listen. You know, that's my wife right there. And I start singing. And she starts singing back. Listen. And what I want to share with you, marriage is a beautiful thing. I've been committed to my wife. I haven't cheated on my wife. I made a commitment to my wife. I made a commitment to God. I made a commitment to my recovery. I go all over to speak. I take my wife with me. Y'all cannot break my marriage up because I don't allow that to happen. Yes, sir. I stand on integrity. I stand on morals and values. No matter what I go through, I'm not saying I don't have character defects. Yeah, I got character defects. I make mistakes. I'm human. Me and my wife go through things, but we work through it. I am learning not to run no more, to try to stand up to the plate, to be the best husband I can be. I'm learning that you gotta honor your wife. You gotta respect your wife, just like you gotta respect your recovery. So I'm here to share with you, man. I am happy, joyous, and free. And you know what's so good about it? Newcomer. I'm talking to the newcomer. What God has did for me, He will do for you. Listen, I am not special. I'm just somebody that God had reached down in the graveyard at night in Indiana that had no hopes and no dreams, that people said you ain't never going to amount to nothing, you ain't never going to be nothing. I'm here to tell you, none of that's true. When God brings you in the program of Narcotics Anonymous, he has a plan for you. We have a new way to live. I'm here to tell you, if he would do it for me, he would do it for you. Thanks for letting me share.